Constitutional Court, which is on a break now, has been hearing an application by the Independent Electoral Commission to postpone the local government election set for October. It follows the findings by the Moseneke inquiry that suggested that holding elections this year would likely not be free, fair or safe. For more on this, I'm now joined by Executive Secretary for the Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitutions, Lawson Naidoo. Lawson, a very good morning to you. Thank you for your time. You have already put forward your views on what has been transpiring in court, saying that the IEC's application to postpone local government elections is an attempt of backsliding out of constitutional obligations. You are really not in agreement with what Advocate Trengrove has been putting forward here. Listening into the first 2 hours of the submissions that he's made on behalf of the IEC, what have your views been?
Well, I remain unpersuaded by the arguments of Advocate Trengrove. This is a critically important issue, and the fact is that it's a foundational principle of the Constitution, in Section 1 of the Constitution, that our democracy is premised on the fact of holding regular elections and a multi-party democracy. And what the Commission is asking the court to do today flies in the face of that constitutional commitment. And we're concerned that if there is a delay in this election, to say that it is impossible is clearly not true, because the Commission is conceding, on the other hand, that if the court makes a quick decision, that they will actually be able to go ahead and hold elections before the 1st of November, as they are required in terms of the law. It may well be an imperfect election, but we are in a pandemic situation. And, it's certainly not going to be a normal election, and it certainly won't be a normal election even if it's held in February next year. So the issue is that there is nothing to prevent an October election from taking place, and it's premature to ask the court to say that elections that will be held in October will be free and fair. We simply cannot make that call at this point in time, because we don't know whether they will be free and fair at that stage. The parties appear to be saying that they don't believe it will, but as interested parties in the process, we can't rely on what the political parties are telling us. So I really think what the Commission is asking the court to do is a legal impossibility, and it's asking the court to do what Parliament should have been addressing.
And that has been a question that has been asked, I think, about 4 times. The judges really essentially trying to get a clear answer from Advocate Trengrove, asking why did the Commission not approach Parliament to task legislation to make this decision. And right towards the end there, we heard Advocate Trengrove saying that the IEC is not asking the court to change the Constitution. And another judge coming in to say, you may as well be asking the Constitutional Court to amend the Constitution, but not being upfront and about that request.
Well, that's the implication of what the Commission is asking the court to do. They're not asking them to amend the Constitution directly, but the impact of delaying the election would have the effect of amending the Constitution or bypassing the constitutional responsibility that lies on the IEC, which is to deliver regular, free and fair elections. That's something that the Constitution demands. And I think the justices have been correct in the questions that they've been asking, is why didn't you go to Parliament? The Constitution provides a mechanism for amending the Constitution, which has to be done through Parliament, not through the courts. And again, the IEC hasn't explained why it's left it so late before tackling this issue. We've been in a pandemic for almost a year and a half. We've been under various stages of lockdown for that period. They were clearly aware a long time ago that this was not going to be able to be a normal election, and they should have made adequate provision for that, including budgetary provision, in the way that they've been able to conduct numerous by-elections during various phases of the pandemic so far.
And that argument was also put forward. Perhaps a question that was posed to Advocate Trengrove is that under the Advocate Trengrove responded to say under the level 1 of the lockdown, that's when those processes were able to be organized and planned for. And then the other important question was a question around the practical difficulties. What would happen come February of 2022 that we find ourselves in the same situation we're in today, especially with the COVID-19 vaccination reluctance being a big topic right now?
Well, that's a huge concern. You know, and it's easier for us to be able to predict what's likely to happen in September and October this year than it is to predict what is likely to happen in January and February next year. And the issue is, you know, that the Commission is relying on almost achieving herd immunity by February next year. I mean, given the current rate of vaccinations, that's really a far-fetched call. And given the levels, as you rightly point out, of vaccination hesitancy that we're seeing at the moment, there is no guarantee that we're going to get to anywhere near 70% of vaccinations of the population by February next year. And what then happens? Do we then have a further delay until we're able to get to 70%? We have no idea what the trajectory of the pandemic will be like in the first half of next year. And, you know, this really just opens the door for ongoing delays. And our view is that as imperfect as the election might be, it's better to hold the election now to be constitutionally compliant and during a period when we know that the rate of transmissions is likely to be lower.
Very well. We're going to have to leave it there for now. CASIC's Lawson Naidoo weighing in on the Constitutional Court decisions that need to be made as we've been listening in to those arguments being put forward by the advocate Trengrove representing the IEC.